So evidently, the influence of science and research way it wavers. It often goes up and down in terms of how much it catches. Um, Sometimes it's more down, sometimes it's more up. But there's often, and then sometimes an area gets really hot and interesting to a lot of people, and sometimes it's not so interesting, and sometimes it's not as flavorful. And, the way that I often take this and as somebody that does research and, the sciencey thing and all that kind of stuff, um, it 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 can get to you in a lot of ways, right? Like it can be, um, you can get emotional, you can get all sorts of different things in terms of how you feel about the world. And I try to be as pragmatic as I possibly can, almost always, right? It's like, to me, it's not necessarily a sort of, I'm going to convince everybody. It's not a thing where I know that everybody is going to be open arms with what I have to say. Um, you know, the way that I look at this is that, and I've had to grow and mature a lot. And the way that I look at this is the best analogy that I know. And I've used this analogy a few times before. If you skate, and I don't know if you've ever tried to do ice skating. That's what they call it down here. Ice skating. But, in other places where it's colder, they just call it skating. But when you skate, if you don't know how to skate, you don't get a lot of traction with what you're actually doing. But when you skate and you catch an edge, it's called catching an edge, all of a sudden it feels very smooth and it feels very fun. And it feels like everything is kind of working for you. So, what I like to sort of stress is that there's moments where you do catch an edge and everything sort of catches. And then there's moments that it's not. But and everybody has different moments where it catches an edge and it sort of, resonates. I also like to use that term, resonates, sort of catches appeal in a different way where people feel it. And it's, that's this is the challenging thing often, is that with science and research, it's not really a cut and dry thing. There is an emotion to it. There is an amount of, it's just, it's very subjective, right? Like it's akin to like love or something like that. I know people could take that out of context, but there is an emotional attachment to some of it in terms of the structure and the beauty of it. And so at any moment, um, you might not catch an edge and you might be ready to fall down on the ice. And you're slipping and sliding and it doesn't feel natural. But just know that at any given moment, you can catch an edge. You can resonate in a certain way. You can, there'll be, a lot of floundering and slipping and sliding, like on those bad, when you see somebody on the ice and they're kind of all over the place and flailing. It could feel like that, and that's okay. But you could also catch an edge every once in a while, and you see that there is something that's actually there. Because it's not necessarily that you're buying into one particular thing often with the sort of science, research culture, but it's often, once you understand it, it sort of makes sense. It all kind of comes together and clicks and it falls into place in terms of what things are. But you also have to remember is that sometimes many people will not catch an edge. They will not catch that feeling, and it will not click, and they just won't like skating. They'll feel like they're flailing all the time, and they'll never do it again. So what I'd like you to think about is the only way that you can catch an edge, the only way that you can get this appeal is to calmly go out into the ice and skate as many times as possible, get as many practices as possible. And every time that you do it, and every time that you sort of welcome people to go out and catch an edge on the ice, it's another moment where there will be something that will catch. It's a possibility that it will catch. There's no guarantee, but there's a possibility that it will catch and it will make sense to one or two or, even more people. And that's what I often think about with the, the influence of science and research and sort of doing the things that one does that's in any scientific profession is realize it's not it's not a binary thing. It's not like it is or isn't, but it's this fluidity that you get. And this fluidity is often caught by moments of flailing by yourself and by other people around you, flailing and it's not working out and it doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel good. You feel frustrated, all of those kind of things. Sometimes, often, um, you might feel anger at yourself, anger at the world, all of those kind of things that you might be thinking about. But um, in the end, you have to come back and remember it's about catching an edge. It's about taking the time to get out and try to skate as many times as you can, and realize it's difficult for people to learn how to skate. It's not easy to learn how to skate. It's not easy to sort of get the whole scientific thing when you do it. And some people may never ever get it. But it's the opportunity to get out and to try to do it. And so myself, I am going to try as many times as I possibly can to 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 try to catch an edge myself, and as well as welcome other people to catch an edge on the ice, on the arena, in the arena, the scientific arena, the research arena. That's the only thing I could do. And sometimes I have to accept that the ice is not ready yet, or that there's cracks in it, or it's really just crappy ice. And so it makes it difficult for people to skate on it. But um, I'm going to try. I'll be frustrated, sometimes angry, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try to get out and patiently try to catch an edge myself and patiently try to teach or just be there often. I don't need to teach. I don't need to persuade. I don't need to influence, but I can be there, being somebody that's trying to hopefully be there when somebody wants to catch an edge and they want to go see and explore, then be that one person, and maybe there's other people that is willing to do that. And despite the fact that sometimes the world feels like it's closing in, you have to remember it's a big world. There's a lot of things that are going on, lots of ways that you can teach skating. It might not be ice skating, at least the place that I live in. Ice skating's a little bit difficult. It's a little warm. But there's different kinds of skating. There's different ways. There's roller skating. There's maybe even talking about skating. There's different forms that you can get out and just try. That's it. Try to catch an edge. Try to be there for somebody that is wanting to catch an edge and wanting to go skating, to be there, trying to assist. All right. Take care. You have a wonderful day.